This is Jumbo. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build a Ghetto Blaster equalizer using HTML5. A lot of JavaScript and CSS for styling, and a little bit of HTML. Before I begin, a quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. So visit ojambo.com for more details. Go to the watch menu, then live sub menu. Basically, the live streams are around 2 p.m. every single day. Feel free to ask any questions regarding programming or lifestyle topics. And as you can see here, you just go to the live stream URL and you can log in there and you can then post your request, chat request. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed so far this month. Thank you very much. Just keep it up. Okay, so this is just a fun little tutorial. Basically, do you miss the days when cassette players and ghetto blasters ruled the streets? Well, you can bring back the 80s vibe with a retro 80s Ghetto Blaster equalizer built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this post, I'll walk you through how to create an animated equalizer that mimics the visual effects of those iconic 80s boomboxes. Whether you want to add some retro style to your project or just love the nostalgic feeling of the 80s, this project is a fun and practical way to learn front-end development. So grab your headphones and let's get started. So, as you can see here, it's just HTML. You see we have the doc type here. We have HTML for the language that's actually not needed. Obviously, it's going to be English. And as you can see here, the chassis, again, I don't need this because I'm using a Unix type of system, so that's Linux and Mac OS. The UTF-8 by default, but if you're using something like Windows, you might need to add that. The viewport here, I like to put the initial scale to 1.0. That's especially for mobile devices because of the limited width. And of course, just the title. Again, just basic HTML. And these are my styles. I'll go over the styles. I think I should go over them. I'll go over the styles in a second. I'll explain this in a second. So, if you go back to the article here, you can see to create an 80s Ghetto Blaster, you need HTML5 and CSS3 techniques and JavaScript to animate the equalizer bars. First, let's break it down. So here's the HTML structure. So you can go to ojambo.com and for this article, with the links are also in the description, and you can simply expand the source and you just copy and paste the source code. So as I said before, we're going to start with the CSS styling for the visual effects for the speakers and equalizer bars. Styling will give the project a shiny metallic finish while making it look like a real Ghetto Blaster from the 80s. So what I'm doing here is the CSS variables. I'm using for CSS variables, at least in 2025, it's just colon root and then the squiggly brackets, and it's here. These are the variables I'm using. So basically what these are is I can reuse this elsewhere instead of having to type this, because some of this will be reusable. What I mean by that is I don't want to, for example, let's pick a simple one here, like this gray color, the secondary background. So if I would have typed this several times, but by using a variable, I'm able to just use it. For example, I can change it. I can change the color here until I have to go and change it. I can find and replace. You just put all the variables here. Now, this is a general reset. By default, there's always some weird padding and margins, and the sizing is also off. So this is just general reset. I usually do something like this for all my CSS projects I do. What I mean is, if I get like a website, I like to reset because it will mess up things later. Just that's one of the first things I do. Then in the body, as you can see, the background color is using the primary -bg, that's background color, and that's this one here. It's a color. It's like a darkish, very darkish gray color. It's not quite black. And then here the font, you can use whatever you want. I chose a Arial font, and if it's not available, I'll use a sans serif. If you don't know what serif and sans serif mean, sans serif means that it doesn't have those little, like it's not quite cursive, but there's a little, yeah, it's a little curve the end of each of the characters. So that's what sans serif does. Arial is good enough. I mean, there are others like Open Sans, etc. You can also use SVG fonts. I think I might do a tutorial on SVG fonts in the future. Okay, and then the color here, obviously I should have used, this is actually just white, but I guess I could have put the white color here as well, but that's neither here nor there. And then you display flex. I'll explain this why later. Justify content with the center, align item center, height. I made it the full height of the viewport, and overflow hidden. And then for our actual Ghetto Blaster here, I gave it a specific width and height, and I gave it a background. Again, as you can see, I'm actually using some of the variables here. This is a linear gradient, 135 degrees, and I'm using the secondary BG background color, and I give it another one because it's a linear gradient. Give it a border radius of 10 pixels, position relative, box shadow, and an overflow of hidden. And for the speakers, each of, because there's going to be two speakers, there's going to be a left and right speaker. As you can see here is the absolute positioning. One is on the left, one is on the right. That's simple enough. And I also gave it the same things. I gave it a specific width and height. The height is 180 pixels. The width is 130 pixels. And what I did, I also gave it a box shadow. I made it display flex and justify content center and line item center. Then there's a mesh, because just like today's speakers, they do have some type of a mesh. So the mesh is also position absolute. I used grid template columns for this one to repeat 6, comma 1 FR, and for the grid template rows, repeat 6, comma 1 FR. So basically, I'm sure you guys know what that means. It's 6 rows, 6 columns, and the repeat. And the gap is 5 pixels. Background color, I used the variable hyphen mesh hyphen BG, and a border radius of 10 pixels. Each of those meshes will have a div, and also has a background color and a border radius of 3 pixels. And the equalizer, its position absolute, its width is 100%, its height is 80 pixels, the display flex, justify content is spaced evenly, align items flex end, and padding is 0, 10 pixels. And then there's a bar, and the bar here, I set the height to 0 because we're going to animate it up and down. As you can see, I gave it an accent color. That's from my variables at the top, and the height, that's a transition. It will be height bar hyphen animation time to bar easing, and then the animation itself, it's pulse, and we're using another variable which is bar animation time, and it's infinite. That means it continuously goes on. And here are the keyframes. You see pulse. The height at 0% will be a 0, at 50% will be 100%, and then 100% it's going to be set to 0%. And then we have the number here. So the number here, it's also position absolute. The width is 100%, the text align center, font size is 12 pixels, the color is set to label color. And finally, we have our controls. Position absolute again, left is 50%, and transform translate X 50%, display flex, gap is 10 pixels. Our buttons, that's to play and stop or pause. We have the width and height, which is set to the button size variables. The background color is set to the variable button hyphen BG. Border radius is 50%, so it's going to be roundish. And display flex, justify content center, align item center, color is set to white. Cursor is pointer, border is none, transition is going to be background color, and 0.3 seconds or 300 milliseconds. Then we have the hover state for the buttons, and then we have the button I, that's the I element, set to font size to 16 pixels, and the play button itself, the font size set to 20 pixels. The record button, we give it a background color of record hyphen button BG, and then we have the cassette. So the cassette here, transform translate X minus 50% because it's position absolute. We set the width to 160 pixels, height to 90 pixels. You have the background color set to the secondary hyphen BG, and we're using the pseudo element before for the cassette, and it's also set to position absolute, and its height is set to 40 pixels, and the background color is set to this light gray 2222. Border radius is 5 pixels, and we have the cassette tape. It's also position absolute. Background color is set to tape -real bg. Border radius 50%, left 50%, transform translate x -50%. We have finally the cassette label. Position absolute again, top 50%, left 50%, transform is translate -50%, -50%. So that's for x and y, and font size 12 pixels, and the color is set to label -color. Okay, so that's our CSS rules. Now, here, as you can see, this is the HTML. We have the Ghetto Blaster here. We have the speaker left, the mesh, speaker right, and the mesh as well. And then we have our equalizer here, and each of them has a bar. And we have, you see data pause 1 second, data delay 0 seconds. And then the number, it says 20 hertz. And you see they all have different hertz, for example, 50 hertz, 100 hertz, so forth and so forth, until we hit 10 kilohertz. That's how Ghetto Blaster used to be back in the 80s. Then here we have our cassette tape, and some of you guys might recognize this. So there's a tape, a div, and then another div for the label, and the label is set to C-90. Then we have our controls here, and then we have the play button. See, the area label is set to play-pause, and then we have this HTML entity for the play button. We have this one for stop, and HTML entity for the stop, and then we have the one for the record button. We have an HTML entity for the record button. Then we have our JavaScript. So you can, I said, you can just expand here and you'll be able to get. So we have, this is our JavaScript here. So basically we get the bars, and we use a for each loop to go through all the bars, and then we'll get the pause attribute. We get the data pause attribute, then the data delay attribute. Then we set the animation. The animation will be based on the pause duration and the delay, the infinite, and then the delay. Then after that, so the reason we have to use JavaScript is because at time of this recording, it's not possible. I mean, we could have done this hard-coded in CSS, but that would be tedious. So we use JavaScript because JavaScript is just literally just a few lines, and it do that for us. So I mean, when you're programming, yes, you can do things multiple ways, but you should also try to future-proof your code so that it's more manageable in the future. I'm saying I could have easily done all of this in CSS without any JavaScript. The problem with that is it would take so many lines of CSS code. That's not very smart, especially for maintenance purposes. But this one with just a few lines of JavaScript, it's more manageable. And obviously, if in the future, if they provide us more options, yes, I would easily tweak this to run it in CSS. Okay, so then for the play button and pause functionality, we grab obviously the play button and we check if it's playing. And so we had an event listener click. So when you click it, we determine if it's playing or isn't playing. So if it's playing, then obviously we want to stop it. So we will set the inner HTML to the pause HTML entity for symbol. And then for those bars, we're going to do another for each loop, go through all of them, and basically change the playing state to running. And then after that, else, so obviously meaning they're stopped. So what we do is we change the play button inner HTML, we set it to the play button, and then we again run the for each loop, and we for each of those bars, and we set the animation play state to paused. So could I tweak this code a little bit? Yeah, sure. I could probably create a function which will do all this for me instead, and then I just pass in, for example, running or paused. I could easily do that again. But so here's the thing. Here's another thing. I would probably have to run an if statement. So if I run an if statement, it's going to be if this is this. So that will probably take just as much or probably more complex. So that's what I'm saying. Just be smart when you make the decision. In this case, it's just faster to do it like this. Now, if I would add this one as well, then yeah, it'll probably be slightly more efficient to run just one function to do this, this, and this together. Well, so that's it. That's the end of the code. Now, before I show you how this runs, I actually have an interactive demo for you guys. Yay! So this is how it works. This is actually the code, as you can see here. You can play the button, you see, and it changes to a pause. The record and this the microphone do not work, but you can, for example, I can play again, and you see it's playing. By default, it's always playing. Now, let me show you what it actually looks like in a web browser. Here we go. And you see this is what it looks like. As you can see here, this is the cassette tape. It says C90. There you go. See, 20 hertz, 50 hertz, all the way to 10 kilohertz. And these are the speakers. So this is, as you just saw, this is the code here. As you saw here, ghetto-blaster.html. And as I said, you can hit the play button. You see, then it shows the pause. And I said the microphone, that's for recording. That obviously does not do anything. We don't have another functionality for that. And then the stop, obviously, oh no, this is if we hit play, the stop doesn't work, but we should probably, no, this is for recording. I keep on forgetting, I haven't had a Ghetto Blaster in a while, but that's it. So by default it's always playing, as you can see. Yeah, just a fun little thing. And as you can see here as well, you can also embed it as well. So that's it. Now I have, these are the screenshots. As you can see, when it stopped, the play button is here, and then when it's playing, the pause button will be visible. And of course, this is the live stream of the video, so live screencast. For example, I play this, so as you can see, it's live, like I'm recording this live. Okay, so some final touches. As I said, we've already done this. We added a cassette, so here's the HTML for the cassette. You can simply just expand, and so I broke it down because some people might not want a cassette. They might just want the Ghetto Blaster part as well. Now, of course, you can tweak this. You can add a carrier here, like a handle, or maybe just up here. I think it would be easier, a handle here. And you can probably just, instead of the cassette, you can maybe mimic a cassette, part of a cassette deck here. It's all up to you. Alright, so let's finish this up. If you found this project fun and want to dive deeper into JavaScript, I recommend checking out my book, Learning JavaScript. It's available on Amazon, links are in the description. It's designed for beginners and walks you through the fundamentals with plenty of hands-on examples. Additionally, I have an online course called Learning JavaScript. It's available on ojamboshop.com. The links are also in the description. And it covers everything from basic JavaScript syntax to building interactive web applications. I also offer one-on-one program tutorials and web services. If you need personalized help with JavaScript web development or need assistance with installing, updating, or migrating your web applications, I offer one-on-one program tutorials. You can learn directly from me at your own pace. To get in touch, visit my contact page, ojambo.com/contact. So, in conclusion, the 80s Ghetto Blaster Equalizer is a fun and interactive way to enhance your web development skills while reminiscing about the iconic technology of the past. Whether you want to customize it further or build on this foundation, the possibilities are endless. Let me know in the comments if you try building this project or if you have any questions. Also, quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day, so visit ojambo.com for details. I post date the upcoming topics, and also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Again, I appreciate everybody who subscribed so far this month. Alright, now with that said, I'm going to check the live stream. I don't see any chat requests, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live stream in a few seconds, and hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.